Hey everybody, welcome back to Daytime. We're continuing to celebrate United Way Week with United Way. Here today to tell us more about the United Way is David Phipps. He's a Director of Research Services and Knowledge Exchange with York University, as well as Janice Chu, who is a Director of Community Investment with United Way of York Region. Welcome to the show, kids.
Thank you.
Thanks very much for having us.
Well, a pleasure to have you here and a pleasure to be celebrating this great organization all week. Janice, let's start with you because a couple of things right now. We're at 25%, the announcement was made, which is absolutely phenomenal.
Exactly.
1 in 3 people will use the United Way, and yet you have to sort of delegate the funds and make sure that it goes to the appropriate services. How do you sort of go about that with your job?
Wow, this is a very exciting job, and it's also a tough job too, because knowing the needs, in our community is so huge.
Yeah.
So we, and also our volunteers have a very tough, decision to make, each time when we have to allocate funds.
Yeah.
So, but of course, we have very stringent criteria to decide, like where the money should be going and for what purpose. And also thanks to the support of our volunteers, we are able to manage a process in a very effective and efficient way.
Yeah. And David, York University has a really interesting tie with United Way of York Region. Why don't you tell us about your connection with them?
Yeah, York University is happy to be the research university for York Region. Even though our phone numbers start with the 416, our hearts are in the 905. And it's a very important partnership we have with the United Way of York Region and with the York Region municipalities. The population is such an interesting and diverse population that it makes for very exciting opportunities for our faculty and our students to be engaging in meaningful work. We've had a number of partnerships with the United Way that has allowed our students to become actively involved with United Way agencies, with the United Way itself. We've had a number of researchers that have had relationships with the United Way agencies. So we were able to do collaborative research, so people are working together instead of just working separately.
Yeah, does that allow sort of the student to also have a trusted resource that they can turn to and work with?
And it works both ways. We find that the students have trusted resources in communities and community agencies, but community agencies also have trusted resources in the university and with our faculty. It is about trust. It's about building relationships. And at York University, within the division of the Vice President of Research and Innovation, we've got a knowledge mobilization unit that helps bring these tables together and create relationships between the community and the university.
Exactly. And it's really a great partnership, when we can, tap into the expertise of York University when they do research and all this knowledge, mobilization. So, when we set our priorities, when we go out to the community, we do all this work and dialogue, but at the same time, like with the support of, York University and their graduate students, there are a lot of, data, and that they can help together, really that help us to provide evidence-based, information that really help us to, clearly identify what the priorities are, what area we should be focusing on, and a lot of, like suggestions of ways, and best practices that can be shared, that really putting research into action. That's the beauty of that partnership.
Well, it probably helps a lot with United Way. Having a trusted source that they can grab real statistics from.
Yeah.
I'm curious because you guys also have 2 big announcements. Aside from the 25%, tell us a little bit about some of the things going on.
Yeah, so this is very exciting week, with United Way, because we make two very important announcements. One is the rollout of our strength investment. When earlier on we talked about fund allocation, right? So this is another funding strategy that we are rolling out. And then the other one is the launch of the Change Inc., which David would talk a little bit about that at a later time. So I want to elaborate a little bit more about the strength investment. Really is a new, funding strategy that we are embarking on. We try to support and facilitate, people coming together, especially all the volunteer groups, that are at work across the region. So it's to provide an opportunity, some funding support, some leadership, capacity building, just to get people coming together, work together, and care for each other, and to address certain issues that they have concern about in the community. Actually, like before, like an issue turn into a problem or crisis. So we can kind of tell, like, in our region, we are bustling with a lot of volunteer activities. Look at the parent council, right? Like look at all the neighborhood associations, all the faith groups, all these volunteers, they all want to get involved. They want to get more involved, and some are looking for opportunities to get involved. So this strength investment is really like the community has been telling us we have to invest in that. Not that we are not providing programs, we still will continue to do that because that's very critical. So we'll still continue to provide programs and support services to the more vulnerable and most disadvantaged individuals in our communities. Yeah. But at the same time, we also want to build that voluntary sector, that informal network of support, so groups can come together. When they come together, they can do things, bigger than one person or one organization can do it alone.
Yeah, which leads perfectly, David, to the second big announcement, because it ties in perfectly with you and social media, which is really going to impact the community.
Yeah, absolutely. Change Inc. is a social innovation incubator. As Janice talked about, the strength investments, which are going to be finding those small ideas, those small groups to bring them together, to work together. Change Inc. will provide an incubator space, an incubator space that will allow them to have physical resources, physical space, mentoring with some of our York faculty, some support from our graduate students, and then engaging, networking them together as peer mentors using social media strategies and using a mentoring network of private sector volunteers that we have identified. We've got some great companies that have agreed to work with us to help mentor these young ideas. They may be by young people, they may be by established groups, but they're new ideas that need a leg up to help them really grow. So the Social Innovation Incubator is called Change Inc. We've announced it yesterday. We've got physical space where we're going to be announcing in about a month. So this will be some new space that the United Way of York Region, York University, will be able to have a point of presence in the community where we'll be able to bring a lot of these convergent ideas together to support social change.
Yeah, we have 1 minute, but I really want to get this question across. I mean, social media used to be viewed as an invasion of privacy, and now it's being viewed as sort of the best way to connect with youth and get them out there. David, for people who aren't aware of the power of social media, what would you sort of say to them?
Yeah, social media, especially a product like Twitter, used to be about what am I doing right now? Yeah. And that's nice that Janice and David are talking to you. But really what Twitter and other social media channels are about is what do you want to share? Yeah. What is your story? How do you get your story out? It's not an invasion of privacy if I'm putting my story out. And so it's up to you to consume it, but it's a much more democratic way of getting information out and information in. So we have a much greater community of practice by working together with tools like social media.
Absolutely. And really quickly, for anyone at home who wants to get involved or take part in the new 2 programs, Janice, how do they do it?
Yeah, the information is posted on our website, so go check unitedwayyorkregion.com, so all the information is up there. And feel free to call us if you need more information.
Give them a buzz or check them out online. Stay tuned, guys. Coming up, we're checking with Cynthia Dumont to see if she's kept that weight down and if there's a chocolate fountain in her life. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.